This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in the last session, we were talking about document splitting. We had two discussions on the document splitting. In the last two discussions, we had different point discussion, different point understanding related to document splitting. And in the last session, the last assignment which we took was this. We have to write accounting entries with these scenarios like debit credit balance sheet account, credit P&L account, debit customer account, credit sales account, in short customer transaction, vendor transaction, asset transaction. In each of the transaction, how system is going to perform the splitting is something that we need to understand, and some examples you need to have, because especially when you're talking about document splitting in your interviews, the interviewer will expect you to explain along with some valid business example. When we say valid business example, you cannot talk a lot of theory in the interview. You cannot take more than few minutes about document splitting. Though we are spending a lot of time to understand, only when you have clarity on what is document splitting, you can talk effectively for few minutes. If this clarity is there, whatever you talk may not create the impact. To make sure that you talk in such a way that the other person will get convinced, they feel that yes, you are good at document splitting, you need to have good understanding on the mandatory journal entries which you are supposed to quote in your example in the interview. First point that you'll have to write down is strictly remember subledger postings. When I say subledger posting, you need to keep in your mind document splitting is exclusively designed for subledger posting. Though you can use it for the GL posting also, but that is optional. GL posting is not the actual purpose of document splitting. The actual purpose of document splitting is to make sure your subledger postings are properly posted with the account assignment object like cost center, profit center, your segment, business area, whatsoever. From there, your actual account assignments, which are defined as document splitting a characteristic, you will be generally defining profit center, segment, business area will be derived, will be defined at every debit, every credit of your accounting document. In short, when you're talking about subledger posting, for any subledger that you take, the account assignments are not available. Any subledger that you take, especially profit center and segment. Business area is an exception. Keep a business area aside for time being. Whenever you're talking about a document splitting, strictly keep in your mind profit center and segment. Always remember, profit center is a manual entry. You put profit center here and then segment. Now this is a manual input. Profit center is a manual input while posting the accounting entry. Second point, segment is a derived value from profit center. Profit center is a manual input. Segment is a derived value from profit center, meaning you will not be able to input segment manually. You will not be able to input segment manually because segment is always detected, segment is always updated from your profit center master data. Same logic, same concept of your cost center, profit center. Whenever you are giving cost center, the way you cannot give profit center because profit center is determined from the cost center. Though you try to give a different profit center, if your manual input profit center is different from your cost center profit center, system is going to default the profit center from the cost center master data because it will create inconsistency. Similarly, whenever you are using profit center segment both, always remember profit center is a manual input, segment is derived from the profit center automatically. Now, this profit center field is not available for input for subledger line items. Profit center field is not available for subledger line item, meaning whenever you put any debit, whenever you put any credit to any subledger, when you're talking about subledger, we are talking about 3 points here. One is your customer, two is your vendor, three is your asset. If you notice, if you recollect the entries that you have done during your AP, during your AR, during your asset accounting, customer, if you see, there is no field called profit center. For vendor, if you see, there is no field called profit center. For asset, even though you find profit center field, it is not manual input. For asset, you will be able to see the profit center, though you will find the profit center during the asset posting, but you cannot edit profit center in the asset, because for asset transaction, profit center is derived based on the asset master data. In the asset master, you are going to update cost center, profit center, and you are going to maintain additional setting called AC set. There is a T code called AC set. Based on the AC set configuration, your asset is receiving cost profit center. So here again, you are not supposed to have any information. You are supposed to talk about the information which is actually happening as part of document splitting. If you talk about customer, you recollect the accounting entries that you posted for customer. First accounting entry, if I take for customer, let's say, if I take customer postings, first one, you will have invoice. While posting the invoice, your accounting entry will be customer account debit, and then you are going to have sales account credit. This will be the basic accounting entry that you are going to write. I'll say some 5,000 on the debit side, 5,000 on the credit side. As we know, debit credit should be zero. Always keep the amount in the accounting symbol. Always keep the amount in accounting symbol so that you will not have any confusion here. I'll say amount at CC level, meaning company code level. Amount at company code level. Along with amount at company code level, you need to make sure amount at profit center level also is updated. I'll simply put amount. The next thing, you should also put amount at profit center level. Amount at profit center level. Here profit center is not applicable. Here you can put PC1. Here profit center is not applicable for customer because while posting any accounting entry, profit center field cannot be seen. While posting any accounting entry, profit center field cannot be seen. Now how system is going to record the entry if you cannot see the profit center? Now while posting any accounting entry, you have two views. You have accounting entry contains two views. One is entry view, two is general ledger view. And if you're not talking about two views of accounting document, entry view, general ledger view, your document splitting explanation will be wrong, because this is the mandatory point that you'll have to talk. First point, you need to talk that this is related to subledger posting especially. Second point, every accounting document contains entry view, general ledger view. Third point, while posting the accounting entry for subledger, profit center field is not editable. For posting the accounting entry, while posting the accounting entry for subledger line item, meaning customer lines, vendor lines, fixed asset related lines, cannot be updated with profit center manually because these are subledger. For subledger, profit center accounting or any additional account assignments are not applicable, not to be updated manually. System is going to derive the account assignment based on the document splitting functionality. For the customer line item, for the vendor line item, system is going to derive the document splitting functionality to detect the profit center. Now here, when you're talking about entry view, whatever the entry that you're writing at the time of posting, you are giving a customer account debit, sales account credit. This is your entry view. So here I can simply put customer debit and then sales credit. This becomes my entry view. Now you're all aware, whenever you create any customer account, whenever you create any customer master data, inside the customer we are assigning a GL account called reconciliation account. Inside every customer master, you are going to assign a GL account called reconciliation GL account. You are going to create customer account. We are all aware customers are part of accounts receivable. For accounts receivable, we are going to create different kind of a GL account like domestic accounts receivable, export accounts receivable, intercompany accounts receivable, one-time accounts receivable. Likewise, you will be creating different accounts receivable reconciliation GL account based on the customer category. You are going to assign the appropriate accounts receivable GL account in the customer master data. Meaning, while posting any accounting entry, the moment you input customer account from the customer master data, system is going to detect customer reconciliation account automatically. System is going to detect customer reconciliation account automatically. Let me show you on SAP. Now these points as it is, we need to explain. Whatever the points we're talking now, as it is, you need to quote in the same sequence so that the other person will understand, yes, he or she is aware of the document splitting, how system is going to perform while posting the accounting entries. Let me do it. So I'm talking about customer invoice. Let me go to F-22. If I go to F-22, I'll put any one company code and all. DR, I'll take LEIN, INR. Let me open any one customer account. I gave a customer account. The customer account that I have given is ABC Private Limited. This customer code is 4762. If you notice the screen, on the same screen along with the customer number, there is a GL account number also. On the same screen, along with the customer number, there is a GL account number also. From where system is bringing this GL account, meaning this GL account is coming from your customer master data. This GL account is coming from your customer master data. If you look at the customer master while creating the BP and then extending a customer at company code level, FLCU00 role, you'll have to assign the customer reconciliation account. The reconciliation account, whatever is allotted there, is automatically coming here. Now we are also talking about there are two views in the accounting document. One is the entry view, another one is a general ledger view. In the entry view, system will display the customer account. In the entry view, system is going to display the customer account. In our example, customer account is 4762. In our example, customer account is 4762. System is going to display accounting entry with 4762 number as customer account. Similarly, you are also having another accounting entry called general ledger view. In the general ledger view, instead of displaying the customer account, system is going to display the GL account, because general ledger view will display only the general ledger accounts, in short GL account. Whenever you are looking at the general ledger view of any document, either while doing the simulation or after the posting while displaying the document, system is going to look at only the profit center at the document which is recorded against the profit center. You are all aware, at the cost center, at the customer level, at the vendor level, you will not be able to feed the profit center. When you are unable to input profit center, you cannot expect profit center. Now, this is the accounting entry. While posting the entry, though you are giving only customer account, system is automatically detecting your customer reconciliation GL account. Let me give a credit here. I'll put posting key 50. Some credit, let's say 3 series, some 5,000 here. Same amount. For the credit line item, because I'm giving a credit side a GL account is having a field called profit center. GL account is having a field called profit center. GL account has also got a field called segment, but segment you don't directly assign. Segment is derived. Segment is updated from the profit center, because inside the profit center you are going to assign segment. The moment you put profit center, segment is automatically updated from the profit center master. For example, if I give a profit center 1 here, According to this example, we have two line items, debit and credit. Debit is a customer account, credit is a sales account. Customer is a subledger, sales is a main ledger. We are all aware. Profit center is applicable only for the main ledger, meaning for the sales, which is the main ledger account, you have given profit center. Similarly, if I go to previous line item, which is my customer account, we know that for customer account, there is no account assignment called profit center. You will not find any field called profit center here. You don't find any field called profit center. So you are not going to update any profit center here. Now let me go to document. If you see this, there is something called simulate. There is something called simulate. This simulation is nothing but entry view simulation. This simulation, only simulate is nothing but entry view simulation. This is going to display the accounting entry as you have given manually. Whatever the manual input that you have given, that is called as your entry view. In short, during the data entry, whatever is entered by the user, that entered data is displayed as it is in the entry view. Meaning, in the entry view, you have given customer account. System is giving customer account. While posting the document, you have given posting key 01. You have given this customer account called ABC Private Limited. When you're doing the simulation, system is displaying the same customer account on the posting. Now there is one more simulation called simulate general ledger. If you go to document, if you click on simulate general ledger, you will find the difference. Now if you see this, now it is no longer the customer account 4762, it is no longer ABC Private Limited here. Now your customer account has been replaced by GL account. This GL account has been extracted from the customer master data. Reconciliation assigned in the customer master is updated here, and this is the GL account description. Since profit center is applicable for the main ledger, system is able to detect the profit center here. If you see, the total of the document has become 0. Similarly, if you look at the subtotal at the profit center, if I collapse this, overall document balance is 0 here. Overall balance at the document level is 0, point number 1. Point number 2, at profit center level also balance is 0. At profit center level also balance is 0. Why we need to make sure this is, as part of your general accounting requirement for any organization wherever you work, as part of the general accounting requirement, everybody would like to generate their financial statement at profit center level as mandatory input. As a mandatory requirement, every organization wants to generate their financial statements at profit center level. In order to generate financials at profit center level, you need to make sure at the profit center level, you will be able to make a TB first, because trial balance is the first point before you proceed with P&L balance sheet. If your TB is not correct, your P&L will be not correct, your balance sheet will also be not correct. You need to make sure your TB becomes 0. You need to make sure your TB becomes 0. How your TB will become 0? TB is coming from the data entry. TB is nothing but extraction of your ledger account balances is nothing but TB. Your ledger accounts are updated from the direct posting in the ledger account and indirect posting based on the subledger account, meaning customer account, vendor account, fixed asset account, whatever the entries that you are posting here, these are indirect postings in the ledger account, because while posting the entry, you are not typing GL account anywhere. We have not given this GL account anywhere while posting. This 151 all zeros is not given as manual input anywhere. How system is bringing this GL account? Based on the customer account that you are given. You are giving to the system 4762. From the 4762, if you double click on 4762, system is able to detect this GL account automatically, meaning it is posted indirectly in the GL account based on the customer subledger account. You have to specifically quote, you'll have to specifically talk about customer vendor transactions while explaining document splitting strictly. Whatever you talk except customer vendor posting, your examples, your answers are invalid, will not hold the weightage, will not give you the positive impact. This is the first point. This is your invoice transaction. The way system is going to split the profit center, the way system is going to split the segment business area is on the same logic for customer invoice, for vendor invoice, for customer credit memo, for vendor credit memo. Whether you take invoice transaction, whether you take credit memo transaction, either for the customer or for the vendor, it is the same logic. either for the customer or for the vendor. It is the same logic, because here system is going to perform active document splitting. Here system is going to perform active document splitting. For system to perform active document splitting, it is going to look at your configuration settings. When we say it is going to look at the configuration setting, you have different configuration settings like item categories, GL accounts, document type, business transaction, all these kind of settings which we have discussed in the previous session. All these settings are verified in order to split your accounting document. All these settings are verified in order to check the active document splitting. Now your invoice is being split based on the active document splitting. To understand which line item is being split, how system is splitting this, again go to document, click on simulate general ledger. Go to document, click on simulate general ledger. If you click on simulate general ledger, first thing you need to make sure amount you will do a total. Amount should become 0, point number 1. Point number 2, select your account assignment, which is your profit center. In our example, select the profit center. At the profit center level, do a subtotal. Select the profit center. At the profit center level, do a subtotal. If you do a subtotal at the profit center level, it should also become 0. Then you click on expert mode on the top. Then you need to click on expert mode. All these things you have to practically talk in your interview. Simulate general ledger, expert mode, and expert mode will tell on what basis system is splitting the entry. On what basis system is splitting the entry, system is going to look at it. Now this is the leading ledger splitting. Zero balance method is passive, this is not. And then company code, derive via document type dr. Dr is a document type. Based on the document type, system is deriving all these transactions. Now system is telling this is the BKPF, this is the table which will be getting updated. Splitting method is 12, everywhere it is 12 only. Business transaction 0001, business transaction variant, business transaction 0 to 00, business transaction variant 0001 are coming based on the document type dr. And down below, if you see down below, there are two line items. Wherever you manually feed profit center, wherever manually you type profit center, that is nothing but base row. Wherever you put profit center manually, that is nothing but base row. If you see base row is where profit center is manually given by the user. Base row is where profit center is manually given by the user, and wherever profit center is not given and system had detected the profit center is where you are going to get split according to base row. When you're talking about split according to base row, this is based on the active document splitting. This is based on active document splitting. If you expand this line item number 001, if you expand this, and here you will find assignment origin. If you look at assignment origin, it is telling baseline item 002. What does it mean? System is telling for line item number 1, I have taken base row as baseline item number 2. If you look at baseline item number 2, it is this. Now at this level, whatever the profit center you have, system had defaulted this profit center on this line item. At this level, whatever the profit center is given by the user, it is defaulted here. Now this is your active document splitting. When you're talking about active document splitting, strictly talk about either vendor invoice or customer invoice. It is your choice. Either vendor invoice or customer invoice, it is your choice. But make sure you will talk about the customer invoice, vendor invoice, customer credit memo, vendor credit memo with more than 2 line items, not 2 line items. Again, 2 line items accounting entry is not enough. In the interview, 2 line item accounting entry is not enough. You'll have to talk more than 2 line items accounting entry. When you're talking about more than 2 line items accounting entry, while posting the invoice, how do I know that there are more than 2 line items? While posting the accounting entry, how do I know that there are more than 2 line items? For example, I'll put the same accounting entry here. Don't focus on what I'm writing, just try to understand what entries I'm writing. I'll put second one. Here what I'll do, I am assuming that I sold two products to the customer. I'm assuming that customer had purchased two different products. These two products, whatever customer had purchased, are related to two different product hierarchy or related to two different line of business. Assuming that since it is the same organization, customer had purchased two different product. These two different product related to two different profit center. What I'll do, I am going to split sales into two. I'm going to split sales into two. I'll take 5,000 and then I'll take 6,000. Here I'll take profit center 2. Here I'll take profit center 2. If I put negative, if I do a total, I'll have to make sure this is the accounting format. Okay. And this will be 11,000. Now the accounting entry has become 0. Meaning, if you look at this, while posting the accounting entry, always remember, if you look at the first accounting entry has got profit center not applicable. The other line item has got only one line item, only one profit center. Straight away system is taking this here. Straight away system is taking this PC1 here. When you have only one debit, only one credit, it is straightforward. Everybody will tell this accounting entry, everybody will tell this example in the interviews majoritarily. But what you are supposed to talk, what you are supposed to quote as your example is something with more than two line items. Your example is strictly more than two line items. Two line item example, please do not talk. So here, if I take two products, for example, I am doing a sale where my product belongs to two different profit center. What I am going to do, since customer is going to pay the total amount, I am going to give, if customer is purchasing two product, nobody will give two invoices to customer. Your customer will tell, I am purchasing two product. Why are you giving me two bills? Please give me a single bill for 11,000. Customer will not tell and you cannot tell, sir, please 5,000 is one product, 6,000 is another product. We will be giving you two different invoices. Nobody will accept it. You need to make sure that the two products are billed within the same invoice. Two products are billed within the same invoice and you need to make sure this invoice is split according to the product profit center at the customer level. To make sure what you are going to do at the customer level, we understood there is no profit center column. So that is why this is NA. So while posting the entry, there is no problem here because there is no field. Since there is no field, there is no point of giving the profit center. There is no point you consider about which profit center to be given here because straight away profit center is ruled out from the customer line item, vendor line item. Credit whatever the sales that you are giving or any additional point that you are giving according to the product, according to the line of a business, you give which profit center is valid there. For example, I have given PC1, PC2. Now in this example, what we are expecting system to do? You are expecting system to split customer line item into two partitions or according to the profit center. You are expecting customer line item according to profit center. What I'll do, I'll try to simulate this entry now. I'll keep this entry as it is. Now let me open one more window. F-02, one entry, if you are able to understand, it will be the same logic. Let me post F-22 because we are talking about customer invoice. I'll take customer account. I'm assuming it is 11,000. Sale value, I'm going to take 11,000 total sales. And I'm going to split my sales into two portions. Credit sales account 5,000. Let's say 5,000 I'll take on profit center 1. Same thing I'm going to put credit to the sales account again. This time I'm going to take 6,000. And this 6,000 I'm going to charge to the profit center number 2. If you look at the document, simulate the document. When you simulate this accounting document, you can see customer account is debited with 11,000. Sales account is credited with 5,000, 6,000 respectively because there are two different profit centers involved in it. Same accounting entry you have also listed here. When you're writing the accounting entry, you're writing three line items. When you're writing the accounting entry, you're writing 3 line items, and the same 3 line items the system is bringing when you're doing the simulation. This is your entry view simulation or data entry view simulation. These terms are very, very important. Simulation, data entry view simulation, again simulation, general ledger view simulation. These are the terms that your interviewer is expecting from you. Only the basic fundamental points if you are able to connect while explaining one debit credit accounting entry related to customer or vendor, you are more than perfect. You're more than perfect for that answer related to document splitting. Now, if I go to document, simulate general ledger, let's see what is going to happen. If I do it, system is automatically splitting my customer line item according to the base line item, meaning whatever the credit line items that I have, according to that system is automatically splitting my customer. If you see, domestic customer receivable has been split according to 5,000, according to 6,000. On what basis the system is splitting? System is splitting according to the line item against which the profit center is given. Now accordingly system is going to take the amount. It will take the amount. When I say it is going to take the amount, here you have got profit center 1 5,000 value, profit center 2 6,000 value. It is going to split this 5:6 ratio. This is going to split this 5:6 ratio. Total is 11,000. 11,000 multiplied by this amount, 5,000 by 11,000. 11,000 multiplied by 6,000 by 11,000. If you do it, is equal to 11,000 multiplied by 5,000 divided by 11,000. You should say you are going to get 5,000 again, meaning at this ratio system is going to split the accounting entry. This is point number 1. This is the point number 1 which you'll have to remember when you have only the sales. When you have only the sales. Now along with the sales, meaning along with the invoice, in short. Now this example is as it is applicable for your vendor also. Vendor, you are going to have different expenses. You are going to debit expenses to different cost center. Different cost center may correspond to different profit center. End of the day, your vendor is bringing the profit center with the help of cost center. Customer is straight away connected to profit center. Okay. Along with this, there may be something called a discount. What if you have a discount? For example, if you are having discount, if you are having exchange rate differences will not come at the time of invoice, and then if you get something called, what else is possible at the time of invoice? If you have any other conditions, basically tax.
Input tax.
Okay, if you get a discount, if you get a tax, you have to try explain an example. While talking the example, you have to strictly include taxation. You have to strictly include a discount also. You have to strictly include taxation. You have to strictly include a discount also. Let's say your customer is purchasing 2 products. It may be possible that this product has got discount, another product is not having any discount. Is it possible or not possible? If you sell 2 products to a customer, on one product there may be a discount available, on the other product there is no discount. Is it possible or not possible?
Possible.
Possible.
This is possible. In that case, you are not expecting system to split discount between 2 profit centers, right? You want system to split discount only on this line item. For example, if this has got 10% discount, and if this has got 0 discount, here no discount. Okay, and both are having no discount and let's say 12% tax. And similarly here this and 12% tax. You need to understand if these are coming from the same line item or coming from the same transaction, how are we going to account it? How system is going to split the entry? No surprise, somebody might give you this scenario and ask you to explain how system will split this entry. You're not supposed to be blank when somebody is giving this. Now these kind of questions, these kind of points are basically represented as scenario based question. You would have heard somebody is telling no, nothing is straightforward. They are asking all scenario based question. This is how they are going to give. In case if somebody wants to check your document splitting level of understanding at high level, whether you really know or you are just talking, they might give you this kind of a scenarios. What if the invoice contains a discount and where there are multiple products which contains a different profit center. Can you explain how system is going to split this? How system will manage the discount? How system will manage the tax? Do you get a discount at the time of invoice? Is this correct? Are you going to get the discount at the time of invoice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Discount, are we going to get at the time
No,
of invoice, or are we going
no,
to
sir.
get it at the time of payment?
Payment.
At the
Payment, sir.
time of payment.
At the time of payment, sir.
Payment.
Time of discount also. The time of
Both are
invoice
Or
also.
possible.
both are possible?
Both are possible. The
You
discount
have
at the time.
invoice level discount, you have payment level discount, both are possible. Am I correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yes, sir.
If you
Yes,
look
sir.
at sometimes when you look at the
Yes, sir.
invoice bill, the invoice itself will show the discount sometimes.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes
Yes,
your
sir. Yes.
invoice itself
In
will show the
invoice.
discount. These kind of discounts are basically coming from the FISD integration. From where these kind of discounts are coming? Discount on the invoice, from where
FISD.
it will come? This is coming from the FISD integration, not from your F-22. In the F-22, you will always get a discount at the time of payment only. Because in the F-22, you are going to provide something called a payment term. Right? Based on the payment term, what system will do? It will verify what is your baseline date. What is your baseline date? According to the baseline date, what is the due date? According to the baseline date, system is going to consider what is your due date, and it will also verify what is your payment date. And the payment date, if it is on or before the due date, it is going to apply the discount, and it is going to take the discount into a revenue account. This is going to take the discount into either revenue or expense depending on customer vendor. And this discount will have to be applied based on the line item. This discount will have to be applied based on the line item. In this example, if the discount is on the second line item, in this example, if the discount is on the second line item, discount, while posting the discount entry or while posting the payment entry, discount should go to which profit center? PC1 or PC2?
PC2, sir.
PC2.
PC2, sir. PC2.
It should go to PC2. It should go to PC2 because discount is coming from this line item. Discount is coming from this line item. What will be the discount amount?
10%.
600.
Amount? It will be 600. Now, whenever you have discount and then tax together, there are situations you have only discount, there are situations you have only tax, there are situations you have discount and a tax. Agree? There are situations only discount, there are
Yes.
situations only tax,
Yes, sir.
there are situations both together. Now, in that
Yes,
situation,
sir.
you can apply, either you can go based on the discount or you can go based on the tax. And then you have gross and net. Net discount, gross discount, net tax, gross tax. Usually you call it as net gross concept. If I'm talking about a discount, there are two possibilities with me. I can give discount before tax. I can also give the discount after tax. Agree?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, when I'm talking about a tax, I can apply the tax after giving discount. I can also apply the tax before giving the discount. Are these two possible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's possible.
Possible or not?
But usually tax will be levied after after discount only, no, sir.
No, sometimes it will be before discount also, especially when you have something called
Both are
FOC.
possible, sir.
Both are possible. Usually there is something called FOC. Anybody heard a term called FOC? Free of cost goods. For example, you bought a mobile phone. You bought a mobile phone. Usually whenever you buy a mobile phone, something they will give for free, right? What will they give for free if you buy a mobile phone in general?
Charger.
Accessories,
It's
accessories they'll do.
Temper
For
glass,
example,
earphones.
carry
Accessories,
case is
something.
given.
Okay, sir.
mobile stand.
Cable.
Tempered glass is given. And let's say they have
Cable.
also given charger, cable. Okay,
Headset.
assume that these are the mandatory things, or headset. This is what they give. Now, mobile phone, their cost, they are charging you 30,000 from you. Assuming that 30,000 they are charging from you for the mobile phone. Are they charging anything for carry case, or it is given to you, but are you paying for it?
No.
No, not.
No.
Value of the mobile phone is 30,000. They are not charging anything for it, but they are giving it to you. So it is zero for you, zero cost for you,
Yes.
because it is free goods for you. So these free goods are nothing but your FOC items. FOC items, when you're talking about FIST integration, somebody might ask you FOC or FOC discount. When somebody is talking about FOC or FOC discount, make sure at the time of a sale, along with the product that you are selling, if you are giving any product for free of cost, that is nothing but your FOC product. Free of cost product. On this product, you are not going to charge anything. But the same product, if another customer is coming and asking for carry case for a mobile phone, are they selling this or not?
Yes.
If another
Yes.
customer is coming, they are telling, I want only carry case. Let's say in that case, they might say that this carry case will cost you around 500 rupees, possible or not, in case if it is a branded one,
Possible.
right?
Yes.
Similarly, another
Yes,
guy is coming
possible.
and he's asking tempered glass, they may say 100 rupees, charger, they may say 1000 rupees, headset, they may say another 800 rupees. Now, this is the actual product value. This is the actual product value in case if they sell separately to a different customer. But since they are giving the same product to you, but they are not charging anything from you. Now, whenever you are selling it to a customer, whenever you are selling it to a customer, on the selling price, you are supposed to pay tax to the government. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, pay.
Whether you are collecting money from the customer or you are giving it for free or distributing, it is immaterial to the tax authorities. What tax authorities will see, what is the selling price of this particular product. On this, you have to pay me 10% tax. For example, on this, if I say 12% tax, it is 60 rupees. If I put same logic here, this is the same amount, and this is your tax amount. Now, after tax amount, 500 plus 60, what will be the amount?
560.
560.
This plus this becomes 560. If I drag it, this is what it is becoming. Now, when I give a discount here, to my customer, what is my discount? Am I going to collect anything from customer here?
No.
No. So if I know that product value is 500, am I supposed to charge discount as 500 or 560?
Ajay, we are unable to see the screen.
Sir, your screen is
Your
not
screen
visible.
disappeared,
Screen
sir. Yes,
is
sir.
not visible.
One sec.
Now it's visible.
Yeah.
Visible,
Now
right?
it's visible.
All right. Now, if I'm talking about this same example, now to the customer, if this item is taxable, government has got nothing to do. Nobody is telling you to give it for free of cost, right? Is government telling you to give for free of cost? No, right?
No.
It is you who is giving for free of cost. Maybe you have been given by, maybe you have an instruction from the management to run a promo, or the supplier may be giving a promo to you. He said that no, whoever is buying my brand mobile phone, please give these free gifts. I am going to pay for you. Maybe supplier or the brand may be providing to the seller. There may be different contracts, different agreements between your vendor, meaning you usually call it as principal. If you have different tie-ups like that, from the customer, you are not supposed to charge the tax. Usually, who will pay the tax on sales? Usually,
Customer.
on the sales, customer will pay the tax. Now, in this case, you are giving this 500 rupees worth of product free for customer. Can you tell you take this product for free, but please pay tax 60 rupees? Will your customer be okay for it?
No.
Oh,
No,
not at
sir.
all.
You cannot say this item you take for free, but please pay tax to me. In this case, you are not going to collect a tax from the customer. Instead, you are going to take this tax onto your account, right? Now here your discount will be 560. Here your discount will be how much? Is equal to this and this. This will be the discount. Now when entries are coming like this, do you have any control on the document splitting here manually, or everything is happening automatically by the system? All these calculations, are we doing manually while posting the entry, or these are all happening automatically by the system?
It's automatic.
Everything is automatic. There is no manual intervention here. The moment you feed the number, everything is split according to the configuration whatever is currently maintaining. In short, your document splitting is coming into picture in each and every accounting entry that you are recording, meaning you need to start understanding what kind of accounting entries are we recording, how debits are coming, how credits are coming, what kind of scenarios are actually coming. Slowly you have to elaborate. When I say slowly, you need to elaborate. Try to add different scenarios. In this case, what is your discount if my tax rate is 12%? Assuming in this country the tax rate is 12%. So what is the discount percentage here? What is the discount percentage?
10% we assume.
Discount
22%.
percentage.
22%.
Discount percentage.
100%, sir.
Now,
Sir.
I mean 12 plus 10.
what is the discount percent? No.
56.
Discount percentage
0%.
I'm asking.
It's
No.
0%.
Your product value is always assumed as 100%. Am I correct? Correct?
112%. 100%.
You are always going to consider the product value as the base value. Base value is always 100%. Now 100 plus tax, it is your 112. So your discount is what percentage?
112.
This is your 112% discount that you are giving. This is your discount after tax or discount before tax?
After tax, Discount sir. after tax.
After tax.
This is your discount after tax in case if it is a discount before tax. In case if it is discount before tax, system is going to do the calculations differently.
Yes.
In case if it is the other way around, system is going to put the calculations differently. From where these calculations are happening, what is the triggering point? How these calculations will happen? Basically, first you need to have a clarity. When I say you need to have a clarity, here you are going to specifically talk about what examples. When you're talking about a document splitting, 2 examples we've listed. For customer, for vendor, what are the 2 scenarios that you have to mandatorily talk? What are those 2 transactions?
It should contain minimum 3 line items.
Transaction.
Sales invoice and
One is invoice, the other one is
This is FOC invoice?
no. We'll take it as invoice only. Invoice and credit memo. Agree? These are the 2 transactions that you'll have to consider. Now, whenever you're talking about invoice transaction or credit memo transaction, this is the initial transaction that you process for any customer, for any vendor. Am I correct? In the vendor account, first entry that you are going to record is invoice. And similarly, in the customer account also invoice. Is this right or wrong?
Yes.
If you take
Right.
exception is your advance. Advance is your exception. Don't consider advance into the picture because that is an exception. In the advance, there is no point of splitting because during the advance, at the bank account, you are going to give the profit center. That I'm going to talk as a separate scenario. But when you're talking specifically about invoice and about the credit memo, you have to keep in your mind invoice and credit memo for customer vendor. And remember, whenever you talk about any invoice, any credit memo, you have to keep in your mind most of the purchases in any organization, are they direct purchases or PO based purchases?
PO based
PO
purchase.
based.
PO based purchases. Similarly, when you're talking about any sales in any organization, are they based on direct sale booking or sales order based sales?
Sales order based.
Sales order based.
SO based.
These are all sales order based. Now, in the sales order, in the purchase order, there is something called a procedure. What is that sales order procedure? What is a purchase order procedure? What is that procedure called?
Cycle.
Procedure.
Pricing procedure. You need to understand some terminology called pricing procedure. For MM, there will be a pricing procedure. For ST, there will be a pricing procedure, because when you're talking about sale, when you're talking about purchases, you have different kind of sales, different kind of purchases. Agree? In some sales, some scenarios are applicable. In some sales, some scenarios are not applicable. Now, there may be a situation where you'll have to give discount like this. There may be a scenario where you may not giving the discount like this. In a situation, maybe you're giving discount first, and then after the discount you're calculating the tax. That is also possible. Where I need to calculate tax first and then discount next, or the other way around. Are these two possible or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If that is the situation, this is not something that you are going to control. This is not something that you are going to control. This is something which is controlled by what configuration?
SD configuration.
Here, pricing
SD.
procedure configuration. When you're talking about pricing procedure, you have MM pricing procedure, and you also have ST pricing procedure. And here, your MM consultant, ST consultant will define the pricing procedure. It is similar to your tax procedure. It is similar to tax procedure. For everything, there will be a condition record. If you're talking about a tax, for tax, there is a condition record. If you're talking about a discount, for discount, there will be a condition record, and they will put the sequence. There is something called access sequence, in which sequence every condition to be updated. Accordingly, you are going to update this. There are certain conditions which will be automatically updated. There are certain conditions which will be manually updated, or there are certain conditions you can do both. Meaning, slowly we need to understand, because when you're giving some kind of examples, you need to give an impression to the other person. Yes, he or she is talking the practical scenarios which we actually come across in a project. Instead of telling only the accounting entry, it all depends on at what level you are understanding, what is your level of confidence. If you are understanding properly, if you are feeling comfortable, confident, always try to talk different examples, different scenarios. The advantage of talking different example, different scenario is they are not going to expect your right answers. Don't think that your interviewer will only look for the right answer. Only when you give right answer, you will get selected. It is not like that. It is all about what you're talking, how you're talking. Nobody is bothered about whether you're giving me the right explanation about the sequential configuration and all. I'm only going to look at your thought process. I'm only going to look at your understanding. I'm only going to look at how you're trying to explain. What example you're taking. Is your example relevant to the scenario? Are you trying to explain your understanding or not? If you're able to take practical examples, though you're struggling to explain, though you're not comfortable within the total flow, they're still selecting you because you're talking in a way which is very practical. You're talking in a way which is very practical. They feel that yes, you are giving a different effort, and then you're trying to give me an example which is practically possible in a project. Meaning you are trying to tell me an example which you have seen in your project. You're trying to give me an example. In the similar way, invoices are posted. Now everybody will talk about document splitting. Everybody will talk about a document splitting, customer invoice, vendor invoice. Now another point that you'll have to remember here is when you're talking about customer invoice, vendor invoice, most of the invoices are coming from POSO. Most of the invoices are coming from POSO, meaning purchase order, sales order. You need to highlight these points. When we create a purchase order, when you create a sales order, meaning while talking about the document splitting, while trying to explain the vendor invoice, you're making the other person realize that you have practically worked, you know how invoices are posted. Don't blindly tell vendor invoice, vendor account debit, customer account credit, whatsoever. Don't tell the accounting entry in such way. Instead, tell that when purchase order is created based on the purchase order conditions, or when sales order is created based on the sales order condition, if sales order contains any discount, if sales order contains any tax line item. Not every line item is taxable, not every product is discountable. Some products may attract tax, some products may not attract a tax. If you take an invoice, your taxes are always based on the HSN code, SAC code. Am I correct? If
Yes, sir.
I buy 10 products, doesn't mean that the 10 products are taxable, right? There may be certain products out of my 10 products non-taxable, possible.
Yes,
Yes.
possible.
Yes, sir.
And if I buy 10 products, these 10 products may have 2-3 type of tax rates, possible.
Yes, possible.
Right now, if these are the situations coming, how system is going to do the document splitting? What if you get a similar question in your interview? Will you be blank? You're not supposed to be blank. All of a sudden, if you get these kind of questions, forget about answering something. We will not even able to understand the questions, right? Agree? Why they are
Yep.
talking about purchase order, sales order, why ST? Because the moment you hear purchase order, sales order, immediately something strikes our mind: FIMM integration, FIST integration. But is this related to STMM integration here that we're talking?
No.
Are we talking about FIMM, FIST
Yes.
integration here?
No.
No,
SDMM
we're not talking.
integration.
We're not talking about integration. We're talking about invoice. We are only talking about invoice. It is mandatory to know that every invoice is majoritarily posted based on the integration, because sales are booked through ST module, purchases are booked through MM module. This is the basic understanding which we are supposed to have. Based on this, please hold on. Based on the sales and purchases, we are going to book the invoice. How sales are happening, how purchases are happening. Are we going to have only one line item every time you book a sale, every time you book a purchase? It is not like that. It is not like that. For example, when you create a purchase order, not necessarily you will create a purchase order only for one item. Agree? You may create multiple items for purchase order. You may get multiple services for purchase order. Similarly, when you're making sale, there may be multiple products, and it may be from single profit center, it may be from multiple profit center. According to the transaction, you need to make sure how system is deriving the profit center. If you're doing a sale, for example, let me tell one point here. I'll put point number 1, sales. Example number 1, direct sales from FI. What is the accounting entry for direct sales from FI?
Customer account.
In short,
Customer
F-1222. Customer debit, sales credit.
Sales credit.
And where are we giving profit center here?
Sales account.
Sales.
account, sir. Sales level.
Sales.
EC1, and here it is not applicable. Clear? Not applicable means you cannot input profit center. This is what which we have seen so far. So this example is right here. Correct? That example is right. This is the one.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you're talking about a document splitting, what if you get an interviewer like me? What if there is a person who is a mad fellow like me, who is asking you, or to whom you are telling that this is the accounting entry, sir, document splitting will happen like this? Then I'll simply put, if my sales are booked through sales order, example number 2. Because the moment you tell this accounting entry, I am getting a negative opinion, because everybody agree that most of the sales are booked through sales order. Agree with me,
Yeah.
everyone?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, example number 2. SDs or SO sales order sales through ST. This is your VF01. If this is the accounting, what is the accounting entry here? Is it the same or it is different?
Same.
Hmm?
Sales entry is same, sir.
Same accounting entry. There is no different. There is no difference. Now, this is manual entry, right? This is manual entry. Agree? It's a
Yes.
manual entry. And is this a manual entry? Second one, example number 2.
Automatic posting.
No, it's
Automatic.
manual entry. Not manual entry.
This is automatic posting based on what? What configuration?
Sales order.
FISD configuration.
What is the T code? From where it is coming?
and OBYC.
This entry is coming from VKOA.
VKOA.
VKOA is where this entry is coming. Now, when the entry is coming manually, do you have any provision to input profit center here? Can you put profit center anywhere?
No.
Then how system
Yes,
is
sir.
bringing the
Sales
profit center
organization
here?
level. Sales
How
organization level.
profit center is coming?
At
From
the
sales
from
order.
the sales order. From the
From
sales
the
order.
Customer master, material master we are doing.
It is coming from customer to sales or sales to customer. How, from where profit center is updated in customer account or profit center is updated in sales account in this example?
Sales
Sales.
account.
sales account to customer.
In sales
Sales
organization, you
account.
give profit center, sir.
Customer
In
master we are
sales order
creating.
also we give profit center.
Yeah, when this
Sir, for
entry is coming,
sales,
how profit center is coming? Profit center is coming in customer account and then transferred to sales account, or it is coming in sales account and transferred to customer account. How?
it is coming from
Sales and transfer
From
to
sales and transfer
it
to
is coming
customer.
to the
By the
customer
make to
account.
order, make to stock, Ajay.
Through document splitting.
No,
No,
Ajay,
sir.
we are
Because
Whenever
creating
this is
master.
automatic posting. This is automatic posting where you have no control to edit any line item and then put the profit center. Now, when this entry is posted, which line item is bringing the profit center to the transaction? Which line item is deriving the profit center? Is what my question.
Sir, when we make any sales, there would be a material we are selling out, like the finished good. In the material master, you would have given the profit center, sir. From that onwards, the profit center will be picked as per my knowledge.
So if you put
Ajay, in the Kofi and Kofac, we will updating the GL accounts. Based on that, it will be updating. Like make to order, make to
here,
stock.
right here, PC is coming from SO. Is this point correct?
Sir.
Yeah,
Is this point correct?
yes.
correct.
PC is coming from sales order based on material master. Is this statement correct or incorrect?
Correct, sir.
Correct, sir.
Profit center is coming from sales order based on the material master, because when you're doing a sale, you may sell any product and each product is represented by a material master. In the material master, you will be able to update the profit center, yes or no?
Yes,
Can we update profit center in material master or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we can.
Material master contains PC. In how many views of material master we can update profit center?
Uh,
Sir.
sir,
Three
at the
levels.
accounting
Hmm?
level, the storage level, and the sales level, sir.
Sir,
I
in
think
one
three
view, sir,
complementary.
costing one view, we update profit center, sir.
Okay. So it is updated at one level or at two levels or at three levels. Meaning
Three
how
levels,
many
sir.
places you have to update the profit center? Is it 1, 2, 3?
Three, sir.
There are three levels. One is your purchasing view, another one is the sales view, another is costing view. Am I correct? One of the
Yes, sir.
purchasing view will contain, one of the sales view will contain, one of the costing view contains, because not necessarily every material contains all the three views. Am I correct?
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
Not necessarily every material contains all the view, but purchasing is mandatory for every material. Purchasing is mandatory for every material. If you are going to sell the material, then only you will have the selling views. If you are going to do the costing, only then you are going to maintain costing view. Otherwise, they are optional. So in short, you can maintain the profit center at 3 level, but everywhere it has to be the same profit center. You cannot put. If you put at purchasing, sales view, costing view will automatically bring the profit center from here. It cannot have multiple profit center. Okay, from here profit center is coming here. Sales order is bringing a customer account or sales account. While posting this entry, from the sales order, customer account is derived or sales account is derived.
Customer account is
Because it is clear profit center is there inside the sales order. Am I correct?
yes.
Yeah.
It is clear that profit center there in the sales order. From the sales order, straight away, are you picking sales GL account or customer GL account? Customer account.
Customer account.
GL account.
Customer account.
We are
From
taking
the sales
customer
order.
account.
From the sales order, you are taking the customer account. Sales account, you are taking from the configuration. Agree?
Yeah. Yes.
So in this example, profit center is coming into customer account first, and then sales account is getting the profit center based on the splitting. Yes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If somebody is asking you, because when you're talking about a document splitting, are you going to talk about invoice example? Because as I said, any example that you talk for document splitting, for activate document splitting, other than invoice, your example is invalid. Nobody will consider your example. I'm openly telling you, if you talk any example other than vendor invoice, other than customer invoice, for your document splitting, especially for active document splitting, your example nobody will consider. Everybody will come to a conclusion that you have no practical experience. You have no practical experience, or you actually do not know how system is performing the splitting, or what exactly is happening with the help of document splitting, because one example is sufficient to make them feel comfortable about your overall profile, your overall knowledge. When you're able to talk these points at this level, unknowingly you're connecting different points or not here.
Yes, sir.
Instead of talking only the document splitting, are we covering different other points or not? You're talking about sales or talking about purchase order, sales order, different things. When you're explaining them in this way, believe me, nobody will interrupt you in between. When I say nobody is going to interrupt, your interviewer will not stop you in between. He or she will never stop you in between, because the flow that you are going on, or the example that you have taken is such, in between nobody can interrupt. If I am talking about this example, I can stop you in between. If you are talking this example, I can stop you in between. I can put a lot of cross questions here. It's very easy for me. But if I am on the other side at your interviewer position, if you are giving me these kind of examples, I'll not stop, I'll not put any cross question also, because I understood. The moment you started taking certain examples will give you a different opinion, will create a different impression. They don't even put cross questions. If you notice the way you talk in certain scenarios or certain topics, nobody will put any cross questions. Anybody faced? Nobody will put any cross
Yes, sir.
question. Nobody will allow you to complete also. In between they will stop. They'll go to next question, because they understood that you are good at this subject. They understood that you know conceptually how this topic is working, how this functionality is used. The whole objective of asking any point, any topic, especially in the interview, is to check your understanding. And your understanding is visible the way that you're talking, the kind of examples that you're taking, how you're relating it to a business process. Because you're not teaching them how document splitting works in the interview, to talk active definition, T code and all. You're not teaching your interviewer how to do the configuration. So keep in your mind, you are explaining your understanding. According to you, what is document splitting? What is your understanding on it? And as per your experience, what you have learned from it. And is what you'll have to explain by taking similar examples like this. This is what I've taken for sales order. Similarly, you can replicate it for your purchase order. When you convert this into purchase order, it will become your vendor invoice. Now, assuming this is my invoice that I posted, either ways, this is the example that I posted. Here you are talking about active document splitting. If I take this invoice, this is my invoice, and against every invoice there is a corresponding payment. Against every invoice there is a corresponding payment. Let's say when you are processing the payment for it, usually whenever you process any payment, how payments are processed. Now here again, most of the people commit a mistake. When you are making the payment, accounting entry, everybody will tell, nobody is concerned about your accounting entries in this example. What is the payment accounting entry for this?
Cash to customer.
So we don't use cash.
Bank
Let's say
incoming.
Bank
Bank.
incoming.
bank
Incoming bank
incoming
account to customer account.
Yes, sir.
debit,
Incoming bank to custom.
customer credit. Now in this example, system is going to perform which splitting, active or passive?
Passive.
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 Here system is going to do the passive document
Yes.
splitting. Whenever you're talking about passive, this is based on reference document. Payment is always based on the reference document. Where while making the payment, what is the reference document?
Invoice.
Invoice is the
Previous
reference
invoice.
document,
Invoice
right?
number.
Invoice number or invoice is the reference document. In this example, I am going to mark my customer. I am going to mark my customer here. Okay, here while booking the invoice from the sales, system is also able to detect what is the profit center here. Once invoice is posted, customer account has got the profit center or not. When there is no profit center, there is no point of invoice booking. You are at the payment, meaning invoice is already booked. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Since you are already at the
Yes.
payment, invoice is already booked, meaning invoice has already been splitted and then profit center is updated there. Now there is a profit center PC1 here. While posting the payment, if I go to F-28, customer payment, while posting the payment, there is something called account number here. I can feed bank account number here. Let's say I'll put bank incoming here. Correct? And there is something called profit center field here. But while making the customer payment, are we supposed to input profit center here or not?
No, we can't.
This is
No, we
a
can't.
manual input, you can give it. But is it recommended to give profit center here or it is not recommended?
Not recommended.
This is not recommended. This is not recommended
System
because
automated update.
most of the payments, because this is not recommended, again there are conditions, because most of your payments are against invoice or with reference to invoice.
Yes.
Most of the payments are with reference to invoice. In short, when you're talking about payment, if it is against invoice, if it is against invoice, customer account will have PC1 and this is NA. Agree?
Yes.
Yes.
And in case if it is on account, everybody knows what is on account payment.
Yes.
What is on account payment?
Uh,
Without referring to
This
any
one is not
invoice.
against any invoice.
Right. You received the payment from the customer, but you do not know against which invoice you need to adjust it, or customer did not tell which invoice are supposed to be knocked off. Then you are going to book the payment as on account payment in the customer account. In this on account payment, where will be profit center? Customer or bank?
Bank.
bank.
Here it will be PC1, this will be NA. Agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have something called residual payments. In this residual payment,
Sir, on account, how you consider that one is PC1? The customer
it
maybe
can be
have
any
number of
profit center.
invoices now. Yeah,
It
okay.
can be any profit center because it's a manual
Okay,
input.
okay.
So you will park total amount in one profit center.
Okay.
Okay. So if it is residual payment,
Customer will get the profit center.
if it is residual customer, because whenever you're talking about residual payment, you are going to pass the residual payment only with respect to invoice. When there is no invoice, there is no point of residual, there is no point of partial. Am I correct again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Residual or partial is based on the same logic. Here it is NA. Now, these are all the passive document splitting. When it comes to payment, if you tell only one, and what if you get a cross question, how document splitting will work in case of on account payment? Can you be silent? If you are silent, or if you are taking my interview, I am explaining all the document splitting explanation. You simply put a cross question or you simply put a question to me. Fine, Ajay, tell me how system will do the document splitting in case of on account payment. In case of customer on account payment, how system is going to perform document splitting. If I say I do not know, if I keep quiet after explaining in a flow the document splitting definition, T code, config, everything, if I am silent for this question, is your intention to shortlist me or reject me? Silence for this question will give very bad impression, because so far you talked a lot of things about the document splitting, why we use it, definition, active, passive, zero balance, accounting entries, and all you explained. But when I give you a simple point, if it is on account payment, how system is going to perform the splitting or how splitting will happen? Can I be silent for this? Is that silence acceptable?
No.
No.
No, nobody will accept the silence in case if they put these kind of questions. You have to have the answers. Meaning, when you are preparing for the interview, especially on certain topics where everybody is asking the topic, everybody will tell document splitting, you prepare document splitting, everybody is asking. Why they are asking? Because there are a lot of things here. Because there are a lot of things, people are asking that point, that topic in every interview. And if you are able to know certain points, certain key points, and with these key points, you will easily get selected wherever you go. Just because you know these points, they will shortlist you. Just because you are aware of it. And doesn't require you need to be expert on it. It doesn't require you have to have thorough understanding on it. If you are at least aware of it, you're talking, you're giving this kind of example, you're trying to explain your effort, they will realize. They're going to look at what effort you are putting and how you're trying to convince me what kind of examples you're taking. Don't play safe in your interviews. When I say don't play safe in your interviews, don't try to hide certain things. Don't try to give basic examples, only the config. Don't try to say, no, I don't know, I've not worked on it. Those things will not work out in the interview, because interview is only to check your understanding, is only to check your confidence level. How you are trying to convince me, whether you are aware or not aware. Tomorrow, if I put you in the project, in case if the situation comes where you are not aware of something, where you have been given a tricky situation by a client, how you are able to communicate, whether you are able to face me or not. In the interview, for my cross questions, if you are able to at least relate, when I say if you are able to at least relate, I am more than happy with your performance. That's what I want from a candidate. I want the candidate to understand what I'm talking. I want candidate to respond in similar line of my question. Meaning, I ask something, whatever you hear from the document splitting, no head, no tail, straight away document splitting is used to for this, active, passive, zero balance, over. Please ask if you have any doubts, confusions, cross questions. We will keep quiet. And most of the times, these kind of answers, whosoever will give, will get the negative feedback. Because you'll have to talk something different. Then they also try to ask something different. Then your interview will become interaction. They try to put cross question, what is on account payment, how on account payments are booked, how system will not do this. Instead of this, whatever you're talking here, your interviewer is trying to ask more questions from the same points or not. Agree? They'll ask why, how system will do like this, meaning on the same topic, he or she is able to talk, to communicate with you for longer time, meaning you're extending, you're engaging them for a longer time. That is very, very important, how you're engaging your interviewer with your conversation. And make sure you have a good communication in the interview. Whatever you know, you tell, and they are going to put cross questions from what you're talking. If you're not talking something, they'll not put any question from it. Whatever you explain, make sure you talk the valid points which are used in a project, which you will be working as a FICO consultant, which will be used by the client business users. Same things if you are able to quote as your examples, everybody will be okay with you, because we try to quote examples that you get from the Google, different other sources. The moment you start giving the example, other person will understand, okay, I got the point. You're getting my point, right? What I mean to say? Such examples you are not supposed to quote, meaning you tell any example of your choice according to your understanding, based on your level only you talk. At this much level, nobody will interview you, but in case if somebody is giving you in the interview, somebody is putting you these kind of a questions, I don't want you to lose the opportunity because you are not understanding the question. Make sure at least you will be able to put an effort. These examples, whatever I've listed here, for invoice, for payment, you list, meaning your document splitting should strictly contain the invoice posting, credit memo posting. You can keep credit memo aside, prepare only on the invoice posting. Again, when you're talking about invoice, you have to strictly represent invoice which is coming from purchase order, sales order. If possible, you try to talk about the discount, tax, how system is going to split. If there are multiple line items, on what percentage it will split. They might ask on what percentages it will split. Will it split 50-50? Not 50-50, it will split on some logic. For example, you have tax. If I talk one invoice, let's say customer debit, sales credit, again sales credit, and this is 1000, this is 2000, and this is 0% tax, and this is 10% tax. And when system is splitting, how tax line item will be split, they might give you this kind of example. They want you to tell the accounting entry in the interview, no surprise. They might tell that, assuming that there is a customer to whom we have sold two products, profit center 1, profit center 2, for 1000, for 2000, they'll always give you the round figures. And when you are giving the example, always take the round figure only, so that it will be very easy for them to understand your calculation logic. Don't take fancy number like 1245 rupees on this 10% is, don't do all these kind of things. Take all the round figure, tax rate, everything you take round figure, because they're only trying to understand your logic and whether you are clearly aware how system is going to work or not. In this situation, if tax line item will have to be brought in, tax, so what will be the tax amount? What is the tax amount here?
200.
200. 200.
200. And this is the entry view, agree? This is entry view, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Now if I try to put PC1 here and PC2 here, tax will go to where?
PC2.
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 PC2, sir.
PC2. When my GL view comes, what is the accounting entry for GL view?
Customer account debit 3000.
No, here what is
Same
it?
as
What is
above.
the total amount here? 3200.
3200.
Now when it comes to GL view, what will be the accounting entry? Customer, or
Same as
customer
above,
will
sir.
be replaced?
It will be
Customer
GL view
replaced
receivable
with
account. GL
Recon
account.
will be
account, sir.
replaced with
Receivable
accounts,
account.
reconciliation account.
Domestic
accounts receivable debit. How much? For profit center wise, it is going to split 1000, and
1000.
it is going to take sales
sales
credit
profit center 1.
1000 for profit center 1, profit center 1.
Yeah.
Again, it will do the same entry here. This time it will be
2000.
2200.
2200,
2200.
and this will be 2000.
Tax.
Tax is credit 200, and it will go to PC2. Is this
Right.
correct?
Yes.
Yes.
These kind of examples is what you have to give in your interviews. If you want to see the impact, if you want to see the difference in your interviews, give these kind of examples. Then you will feel the difference in your interview. You will see the reaction from your interviewer in a different way. You will see the way they put the next questions are also different, meaning they understood your level of understanding. Once they come to know what is your level of understanding, they don't try to put a lot of questions. They'll simply close the interview because they understood that yes, you have the understanding. And that is what is their intention, and you have to meet their expectation, meaning on what basis expecting what they're asking this question. It is very simple. Nobody is expecting a definition, configuration, T code. Agree with me? Nobody is asking you the questions to hear the definition, to hear the configuration, to hear the T code. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
In the interview, it is valid only for a fresher who is a fresh pass out. Assuming you did a fresh pass out, like you are now in 2022, if you did your academics in 2024 or latest 2023, either you should be a 2023 pass out or 2024 pass out. Only then you can talk the definition, because you are a fresher, you are an official fresher. Now you are an unofficial fresher. Agree? You are not officially fresher or unofficially fresher. So you have to represent your experience, your understanding. What is your level of understanding? And then you are going to have a different impact. You are going to have a different understanding. Meaning, make sure the people, whoever is taking your interview, will get a positive opinion the way you talk. And this is about your active passive example that you'll have to quote. And there is something called zero balance splitting, which I'll talk later on, because that is very much straightforward, nothing complicated in zero balance. These are the only two that you need to understand. Okay, so I'll share this Excel sheet now. Go through the recording thoroughly and try to understand the example that we're quoting. Whatever the examples that we have listed, try to understand this example, so that when you're trying to write your own example, you will have a clarity. Okay, if somebody is asking me, what am I going to ask? What I'm going to tell? What kind of cross questions are expected? Or if they ask me to talk about any kind of errors that I got it, what kind of errors usually come in the document splitting? What could be the reasons for document splitting errors? When you get balancing field profit center not filled, balancing field business area not filled, balancing field segment, depending on what characteristic you made mandatory, what could be the reasons for which you are getting the error, and how do you solve it? What could be the solutions for it? You need to have an understanding, because when it comes to the payment, here when it comes to payment, I am talking about the customer payment. What is the other payment apart from customer payment?
Vendor
Apart
payment.
from customer,
Vendor payment.
there is another payment called vendor
Vendor.
payment. When you're talking about vendor payment, there are two types of vendor payment. One is manual payment. What is the other payment?
APP.
Automatic.
Automatic
Automatic
payment.
payment. In every organization, most of the payments are processed manually or automatically.
Automatically.
This is another point everybody is aware, and everybody is preparing automatic payment program, FBZP, F110, all these kind of things. Now you will forget here that your payments are processed automatically for vendor. When payment is processed automatically, do you have any control to feed profit center for bank line item?
No.
No,
No.
sir, not required.
Right? Then system is automatically splitting based on the vendor invoice. Now again, when it comes to vendor payment, you can make partial payment to vendor.
Yeah.
You again
Yes,
have
sir,
on
we
account
do.
payment, and you have again different scenarios here: residual, partial, on account, against invoice, multiple vendors, sorry, multiple invoices, single payment. Two invoices are there in the vendor account, but there are two profit centers. When you do automatic payment program, how system will do it? Will it split payment into two entries, or it's a single payment? Assuming I have two vendor invoices, invoice number 1, profit center 1, invoice number 2, profit center 2. Possible or not in one vendor account?
Yes.
Yes.
Possible.
Yes, sir.
Now if I run automatic payment program, is system going to process two payment documents, one for each profit center, or a single payment document combining both the profit center?
Based on the configuration.
Meaning these are the questions that you cannot straight away answer. Meaning after you said passive document splitting is used for payment, when you process the payment, vendor account debit, bank outgoing account credit, then I'll put another question, how system is picking the profit center. Can you feed the profit center manually during the payment? If it is a manual payment, yes, you can feed manually, but in case if it is automatic, you're not supposed to talk manual payment because you have to avoid it. You're talking about manual payment, manual receipts during your interview explanation gives very bad impression, negative impression, because in any organization, these are all automated. When you know these are automated, you're talking about manual payment, F-28 and all, F-53, 58 and all, then it gives a representation from your explanation itself that you have no proper experience, you have no proper knowledge on it. It's not because of anything, it is because of what you're talking, it is because of how you're explaining the point, how you're connecting the dots. When you're explaining, you'll have to connect at different points. It's not that only I'll limit my explanation to document splitting, I don't go anything beyond it. It is not going to work out because that is practically not possible. You'll have to connect at different points, different scenarios. Similarly, you need to bring all these definitions, terminology during your explanation. Only then the other person will feel comfortable, confident. Yes, this candidate has got the correct understanding, or he is at least having awareness, knowledge that okay, this is how things are working. That knowledge, that understanding, if they realize in you, they will blindly take you no matter what. Even if you talk 50% only, you will get 100% job, no doubt in it. Because there are many people who do not talk at this level. There are so many people who will talk only the definition, who will talk only the configuration. But if you are trying to give an effort to go beyond that level, try to give an example, try to talk a scenario, try to explain your understanding as per you, as per your practice, your understanding, that will give you the positive result. You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be exactly correct. Even if you are able to meet 50%, up to 50% is going to give you 100% job. Because practically there are people who are not even able to meet 50%, still they are getting job. But if you're able to meet up to 50%, there's no doubt you will get the job. You don't have to worry about anything. Okay, the remaining portions, like there are something called inheritance, there is something called account assignment, or the fixed account assignment. These things, the zero balance splitting, what is zero balance splitting, when it will come, all these points I will talk in the tomorrow's session. Okay, but meanwhile, go through this sheet, try to take different examples, so that in the next session when we conclude the document splitting, you will have a thorough understanding. Accordingly you can make your own points. When I say accordingly, you can make your own points as per your understanding. If you have to talk about a document splitting, you list out as per your understanding what points you want to cover, how you wanted to cover, which is sequence you wanted to follow. It's completely personalized. When I say personalized, because tomorrow you have to talk, you have to feel comfortable with it. The way you feel comfortable, in the similar way you talk, that will definitely give you the positive result. Okay, so we'll continue the remaining portion in the tomorrow's session. All right, good night.